If you've been praying for inner peace, and if you are at all, even just a little bit curious about what a life would be like and look like where you are emotionally cleansed and clear, even when there are moments that, are just life being life, that don't feel good, that aren't fun, that aren't your preference, you don't want to miss a moment of this episode.
Okay, we're going.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, we're going.
I am Rebeccah Silence, emotional healing and relationship coach, author, and media personality, here with you on the Healing is Possible experience, a show that takes you on a journey back to optimal emotional wellness, which gives you the ability to not just imagine your dream life, but to actually live it. That's the kicker, right? An emotionally healed life is a dream come true life. So today's episode is about emotional cleansing and detoxing, and actually getting you beyond just imagining or fantasizing a life of peace and emotional wellness, but on your way to living and experiencing it. Be sure to stick with us till the very end of this episode, where I share my personal, very favorite emotional cleansing ritual that has changed my life. And also, please don't forget to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel so that you can be the first to get notifications about our latest and greatest content. And be sure to share this episode with a friend that you think would benefit from the content today. So, what do I mean? Well, we all have emotions, and the good news about that is our emotions are what make us human. So no matter how much we want to wish them away or resist them or shut them down or reject or deny them, there's simply no escaping our emotions, because that would mean escaping our own humanity. And as long as we're still here, living and breathing, we can wish our humanity away. We can wish our emotions away, but it will be a lost cause. It will be the ultimate experience of seek and do not find. And my goal is to help you actually find and create and experience what you're looking for and the life that you're longing for. What I know with absolute certainty, it's 100% available to you, but not if you're emotionally clogged up and funky. So bear with me as I explain to you what happens that has us get emotionally clogged up and funky. And imagine we have billions of people around the world clogged up emotionally and funky emotionally, and wondering why people aren't loving them. People aren't respecting them. People aren't seeing them, hearing them, validating them. When we're all clogged up and funky, there is no way to actually relate to the truth of who we are, because we're not even connected to the truth of who we are when we're emotionally clogged up and funky. And you might be asking, like, Rebeccah, how can you be so lighthearted and smiling when we're talking about all this? Here's why. It is so curable, healable, and transformable when the only issue you have is some clogged up emotions. That's easy. Now, it might not feel easy. It might not feel doable, possible, but I'm going to explain to you how it is. So imagine that when we're born, we are as pure and authentic and transparent and gorgeous as ever. It's the most authentic we're ever going to be. In those early years between 0 and 3, we are pure. We aren't questioning ourselves. And most of all, we're not questioning our own humanity or our emotions, because we're not making life the way people show up, the circumstances around us. We're not making any of that mean anything about who we are on an identity level. We're not questioning ourselves because of an emotion. We're not questioning ourselves because of a circumstance. So if you're out there thinking, I've always felt anxious, I've always felt depressed, I've always, for lack of a better way to say it, felt emotionally clogged up and funky and not able to do anything about that, I'm here to challenge you, because the truth is you were born pure, you still are pure. That's the truth of who you are, no matter how you feel in a moment, or how buried down your emotions are, or how big and daunting your emotions feel. You're still pure and whole and at your essence healed underneath all that. And it's just not real that you were born broken, or that you're so far gone that there's no coming back from it. Okay. We have ways to get you back to a place where you're free and clear and connected to you again, and where your life is yours again. And I'm going to give you, I think, some really important, just nuggets of soul food to chew on today. So if we're born free, clear, and unapologetic, specifically regarding our emotions, I think that's good news. And the only 5 emotions that, when it comes to the practice of emotional healing, that I have developed that matter are anger, grief, fear, joy, and excitement. And here's why. These are the only 5 emotions that I focus on, and these are the only 5 emotions that I want you to pay attention to right now. The rest, anything else, and you may have heard me say this before, but if you haven't, or even if you have, I want you to hear it again. Everything else is learned. So we learned how to be rejected. We learned how to be abandoned. We learned how to be someone who is betrayed. We learned guilt. We learned shame. We learned jealousy. And I could go on and on and on. But these non-emotions, these are our ways of coping with the emotions we don't know how to feel. We don't know how to be with. We don't know how to express. We don't know how to move through. So let me say that again, because it's so important. Our emotions, they can't ever hurt us, and they have never been the cause of our pain. It's how we cope so that we don't have to feel anger, fear, grief, joy, excitement. That is where stress and suffering is born. That is what happens that has us begin to get more and more and more emotionally clogged, to the point where we've gotten to the place where we don't even recognize ourselves anymore. So jealousy is a way of not having to deal with one of these core 5 emotions. Same with betrayal, same with rejection, same actually with depression and anxiety. And I know this might be controversial in a way that is confronting for some of you, but what I just want more than anything else is to give you the ability to be your own lifeline, and to take your life, and especially your emotions, back into your own hands. So imagine that we're born this clear. And then life starts to happen. We get heartbroken. We get betrayed. We get confused about our worthiness. We start to think that if we're feeling too sensitive, or if our emotions seem to be upsetting other people, that our emotions are a problem. So imagine that in every moment that we're jaded, bitter, feeling less and less and less alive, or okay, or comfortable in our own skin, this purity that is our essence, that is in fact the truth of who we are, it starts to get really muddy, really funky, and really messy. And it's not necessary to live all clogged up and funky. So I'm going to ask you a question now. And if you have a journal and pen, great. If you don't, consider for yourself an answer for yourself, and maybe come back later and do this process that I'm about to share with you as a journal exercise. But here's what I want to ask you. Which out of the 5 emotions is the one that feels the most difficult, the most challenging, and the most scary for you to face, to be with, to have a healthy relationship with? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it grief? Is it joy? Is it excitement? Now, the one that is the emotion you resist the most, that's the emotion that we want to start with our emotional cleansing process, because until and unless, see, what I'm going to suggest here is there's no better or worse, more positive or more negative emotions. There might be some darker emotions, some lighter emotions, but what if none of them are in fact bad or wrong? What if none of these emotions are a problem, except for when you reject or resist them in any way, shape, or form? My point is, when you get to the place where you have a healthy relationship with anger, fear, and grief, only from there do you get access to joy and excitement. Let me just say it one more time. This is so important. This is so good. And I think this is so powerful. And for some of you, it's changing your lives. Just considering what I'm saying may be a possibility for you to get to a place where your relationship with all 5 of these emotions is a healthy relationship, is a relationship where you're not afraid to flow with the emotion as it comes, knowing it'll pass just like every other part of life, and that there's more life on the other side of each and every one of these emotions. But if I won't let myself be with some of them, I don't get to have the good stuff. I don't get to have joy and excitement without a healthy relationship with anger, fear, and grief. I just don't. And some of you are way more comfortable in the dark than you are in the light. And some of you just want the light and you don't want the dark. But what would it be like to have a life where emotionally you're this clear? And it doesn't matter which of the 5 emotions are present, or if multiple are present in a moment, you trust and you know there's not one emotion more powerful than you and your ability to move with it, to flow with it, to dance with it. So if we want peace, I just have to tell you, we've got to be emotionally clear. And if we want healthy relationships with ourselves and with other people, good luck trying to create healthy connection when you're all clogged up and funky. And this is so important. There's no shame in admitting to yourself, to you in the walls right now, wherever you are, that maybe you're a little bit emotionally clogged up, that maybe you're a little bit emotionally funky. And the good news here, cleansing is possible and available, and emotional clarity and freedom, it's ready and waiting for you. Okay, so what gets in the way of emotional cleansing? Period, end of story. What has us resist, reject, be afraid of our emotions? It's past trauma, and it's the fear of feeling how we never want to have to feel again that we're hoping that we're past. But here's the truth. We're not past the trauma when we're afraid to feel the way we felt way back when. Even if way back when was just 5 minutes ago, if you're afraid to feel certain things, life is just giving you opportunities to prove to yourself that you can actually handle feeling that. And until and unless you will feel that, you're a prisoner to your past. We're not actually a prisoner to our emotions. We're a prisoner to our past. And so just recognizing and owning and believing that there's no feeling, and there's a big difference between our feelings about what has happened, what's going on around us, outside of us, and the emotions that we need to feel to be free and clear, and remembering how whole and pure and deserving we are of all the best that life has to offer. So how do we make this less scary? Knowing if I need emotional cleansing right now, that likely means I've got some past trauma that I need to heal. How do we make this more doable and less daunting? Here's how. We recognize we have 2 choices. We have one choice that says, fight and resist our emotions in the past above all else. We have another option that says, oh, I want to welcome anything that would have me feeling less alive. I want to welcome the process of practicing emotional healing and cleansing when I have clogged up emotions, so I can be my best, feel my best, and experience the best of what life has to offer. And only from that place can you actually make the best of every moment you're in. So I'm going to share with you now a way to just very realistically practice being with your emotions and leaning into them versus pushing them away. And that alone begins to heal your trauma. So the good news here is I'm not going to suggest that in this moment, you've got to go back and, have a date with Sigmund Freud and figure out, so what the hell happened? How old was I? What was the trauma? Why is it still running me? We don't have to start there. Where we start with is asking ourselves, what emotions am I cool with? What emotions am I not cool with? And in moments where you feel confronted, triggered, want to shut down, want to push your own truth away, number one, say to yourself, I can handle my truth. Number two is that we can just start with recognizing in every moment we have a choice to either cope the way we've always coped and let our pain patterns and our patterns of running away from our emotions continue, or we can do a different dance step, a new dance step, and we can get so connected to ourselves, trusting that we can handle our truth, that we can handle our emotions. We don't have to cope anymore. We can decide. We can decide that we're not going to cope the way we always have. So recognizing I want to have a drink right now so I don't have to feel this. I want to make myself busy right now so I don't have to feel this. I want to take care of my loved ones right now so I don't have to take care of myself. Whatever your pattern is, just ask yourself, how would I typically handle this? I'm obviously confronted. I'm obviously having emotions that are stuck, that want to come out. And how do you know? How do you know you have an emotion that's stuck and wanting to come out? It's starting to bubble up. So what we don't want to do is push it back down. What we want to do is go, I recognize how typically I would cope in this scenario. And instead, I'm going to get closer to the emotion that I don't typically feel safe feeling or want to feel. I'm going to let myself prove to myself that the feelings that in the past are what I've been running from, I don't have to run from them. And when I lean in, when I connect to them, I have freedom and my life is mine again. So let's just recap a little bit, because I'm saying so much here today that's so significant and so powerful, right? We all have emotions. That's what makes us human. There are only 5 that really matter: anger, fear, grief, joy, and excitement. And until and unless we have a healthy relationship with all 5 of these emotions, we're a little bit screwed, because we can't have the light without also being willing to embrace the dark. We can't have joy without a healthy willingness and relationship with anger, grief, and fear. And none of these emotions are bad or wrong. And none of these emotions are our fault. And when we'll just freaking feel them, we're not clogged up anymore. We're clear. And we get to meet a next level, higher version of ourselves. And that's what I believe the real game changer is. The experience of life where we're emotionally clear and free and not afraid of any of these 5 emotions and not afraid of any external circumstance, because we're so clear that we are able to stay our best and to stay clear no matter what. That's what the practice of emotional healing is about. So if you want inner peace, have a healthy relationship with all 5 emotions. If you want happiness, my definition of happiness is a healthy relationship with anger, fear, grief, joy, and excitement. None of the emotions have any power to threaten me, to break me down, or to have me feel less alive or like I'm destined for less of a life. It's the emotions that will actually give you the opportunity to have more life. So we've talked about what the emotions are, what's possible in terms of emotional cleansing, and we've talked about what is it that gets in the way, past experience that still feels so traumatic that we don't want to feel it again and we don't think we can survive it. But here's the good news. If you've survived it before, you can survive it again. And the more willing you are to just meet life where it is and to meet yourself where you are, that's where your freedom lies. That's where peace lies. Don't be afraid it's going to get worse. If you've already survived it, it doesn't get worse than that. And the more willing you are, the less likely you'll have to feel your way through things that at one time you maybe thought would kill you. It won't kill you to feel. It will kill you a very real, slow spiritual death not to feel. So how often should we practice emotional cleansing? Believe it or not, every moment of every day. But at the very least, you could set an alarm on your phone so that at least once a day, you're checking in with yourself. How emotionally clear am I on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being very clogged up and funky, 10 being crystal clear. We are, again, human, which makes us emotional, which means we have an emotional body that needs to be paid attention to just as much, if not more, than our mental mind body and our physical body. And when we've got a healed, clear, cleansed relationship, mind, body, and emotions, that is where we can connect to our spirit. And I will share my favorite emotional healing ritual with you shortly that is a way to connect to your own spirit, which gives you access to your own truth, which gives you access to your own guidance, which gives you the ability to be your own healer. Such good stuff, right? Okay. How often should we practice emotional cleansing? I just want to say one more thing about this. Anytime you feel like life or your sensitivity or your emotions or even other people's emotions are bigger than your ability to handle it. When we've got emotional intelligence and the emotional intelligence to recognize the only thing I have control over right now is my emotional health, my emotional well-being, and my ability to emotionally cleanse, there's so much power there. So just know that anytime you're triggered, upset, off, funky, feeling threatened, feeling like it's more than you can handle, whatever it is, that's the time to emotionally cleanse. And what's on the other side of the emotional cleansing that isn't necessarily fun, but always freaking worth it? Your peace. Okay, without further ado, what is my favorite emotional cleansing ritual? Here it is. I get really still. I get really grounded. I light a candle and I do a body scan, but I'm focusing on where are my emotions stuck in my body. I'm not looking for physical pain or ailments. I'm doing a scan, almost like a chakra clearing, but it's an emotional clearing. And I'm going to take you through this process right now. This is my favorite emotional cleansing ritual. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth, and we're going to do it 3 times, 2 more. And we're going to start with our feet. And we're going to root down into our power, into our essence, into the truth of who we are, which is whole, pure, and divinely perfect. And now we're going to start with our toes and we're going to move all the way up our bodies. And we're just going to start to scan for any stuck, any blockage, any trapped emotion that needs to be released. So start in your toes. Are there any stuck emotions there? Anger, fear, grief, joy, or excitement? Now we're going to take a deep breath. Now breathe into your ankles. Are there any stuck emotions there? I'm feeling a little bit of rigidness in my own ankles. I'm just going to breathe in to any stuck emotion there and let it move down out the bottoms of my feet. I'm going to take another deep breath. Now I'm going to check in with my shins and my calves and my lower legs. Any emotion that is stuck here in my body, breathe into it, release it out the bottom of my feet. Now I'm going to breathe into the tops of my legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the IT band. I'm just going to breathe life into the top of my leg. I'm going to look for any stuck emotion, anger, fear, grief, joy, excitement. It could be any of them. It could be multiple. And I'm going to breathe out, and I'm going to breathe out the stuck, down my legs, out my feet. Now I'm going to breathe into my belly, and I'm going to scan for and look for any stuck emotions in my stomach. Breathe and release all the way down my legs, out the bottom of my feet. Now I'm going to breathe into my hips, body scan, any stuck emotions here. Breathe in, breathe out, release. Now I'm going to breathe into my low back. This is an area for me where stuck emotions get trapped often. I'm going to look for them, find them. There's no fear here. This is a very neutral process. Breathe in, connect to them. Shoot them down my legs, out my feet, back to where they came from. Next, my chest. I'm going to breathe into my chest, looking for any stuck emotion. Gently and lovingly, I'm going to breathe in, I'm going to breathe out, and I'm going to send them down my body, through my legs, out my feet, out of me. Next, my shoulders. Scan, connect, release. Finally, we're going to move to our neck and our jaw. And we're going to breathe in, body scan, find the stuck emotions, release. Now we're going to scrunch up our face and scan and scrunch up every other body part. One more time, body scan, any stuck emotions. Breathe in, shoot it out. Now we're going to do 3 more deep breaths. Breathe in, shoot it out. Breathe in, out. Last one, in, out. And you just got yourself closer to clear. Congratulations. Thank you for joining me, Rebeccah Silence, for the Healing is Possible experience. If you want to take an even deeper dive into what are your emotions, how do you healthily express them, move through them, connect to them, and release them, check out chapter 2 of my book, Coming Back to Life. For all of your emotional healing needs, be sure to visit RebeccahSilence.com. Check out everything from private services to the Emotional Survival Kit course, but definitely check out chapter 2 of Coming Back to Life. You can also get it on Audible. We'll see you every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain. And I also invite you to visit RebeccahSilence.com to book a free discovery call with me if you're ready for premium private practice service work with me. I'm here for you. Healing is possible, and you deserve to not just be imagining your dream come true life, but to be living it. And I believe you have everything you need within you to experience your dream come true life, to be living your dream come true life, emotionally healed and cleansed. I love you so much. Thanks for joining us today. See you very soon. Bye for now.